So you met with Steve Bannon this week.
I did?
Well, I guess you did.
Let me think. Yes, you're right.
What'd you guys talk about?
I did. The weather in Colorado. We talked about, we actually talked about the political landscape in Colorado. That's what he wanted to hear about, and that's what I talked to him about.
And what was your perspective on the political landscape
Well, we spent
in
2 hours. I don't think we have the time here.
Mm-hmm.
My perspective is, hell, it's still in play. You know, we tend, the state tends a little to the blue, but if you think about it, the last election cycle, we only lost one race. The Republicans only lost one statewide race, you know, and that was for governor.
Mm-hmm. You mean the races that you felt were in play? Well,
no, I mean statewide. The constitutional officers, you know, excuse me, Attorney General, Secretary of State, Treasurer.
Okay.
Those are all statewide offices. We only lost one. And so I think that I think there's a possibility here. You know, it's not going to be easy, for sure.
Are you going to run for governor?
I don't know. I truly mean it. I don't know. I'm not blowing smoke at you. It is, or being coy. I don't know. And it depends on a number of things. I think it would not be that difficult to win a primary. It wouldn't be easy, but it wouldn't be. I have a pretty good base of support, and it's out there. And it's a bigger base than anybody else, at least of those who have announced. I mean, our polling, we just got done with a poll that showed us certainly that is the case. All of the folks who are running, and I'm not running, so I'm not in that particular pack, but everybody is, you know, not even in double digits in terms of support among Republicans for the primary. I mean, they just don't know these people, for one thing. No name recognition, and there isn't a lot going on. My name recognition, very high. I have two things going for me. Well, no, it's the wrong way to put it. One thing that I really have going for me is I have very, very high name recognition. The bad thing is I have very, very high name recognition.
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword because, you know, people either really like me or they really don't. And so, but nonetheless, in a primary, I have a pretty good chance of winning. And so, but that's not the issue. I mean, who wants to just win the primary? That's not the game.
Well, I guess that's a big question, though, isn't it? I mean, you can appeal hard to the right flank.
Well,
of the Republican
I
Party.
will make only one. There's only one Tom Tancredo. I will guarantee you. There is no way that I will be a different candidate for governor than I am for a primary. Who would believe it? And I wouldn't do it. I rail against those people that you know.
Well, is that?
I hate it. I hate it. So if you don't like Tom Tancredo, that's all right. It's c'est la vie. I live. You know, I've got a pretty nice life. Got a good family.
A nice house.
Oh, well, thank you.
You know, your friend Mr. Bannon is talking, you know, about what basically sounds like kind of a hostile takeover of the Republican Party, or at least trying to throw the establishment out.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't think that's any news to anybody.
Sure,
is it?
but I guess what I wonder then is, do those politics work here? Could they work here?
So many things are ifs. Could it work? Yeah. It depends on if we run the right people, if they run the wrong people, if the what's the general climate in the state? Look, I've lived here all my life, okay? And Colorado is a very difficult state to understand politically. And even when I was talking to Bannon, I told him, you know, it's kind of a schizophrenic state. We, you know, elect a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats and a lot of conservatives and a lot of liberals, and it's just an odd mixture. And so, you know, if lightning strikes the right place, sure, anything can happen. So I think it is possible for a non-traditional Republican. As a matter of fact, I don't think a traditional Republican can win anything statewide. And I think we've seen that. I mean, for governor. The other things that we win statewide, the treasurer, those are brand names, really. But the governor is a personality-driven race. And frankly, we've tried a lot of kind of rich white guys, in the past. I'm not rich, believe this or not. I'm not rich. I do not have, what's Jared Polis got, $30 million? Let's see, do I have 30 million? No. So, I think we've tried that. I am not a typical Republican. I think you would agree.
Do you think that the Republicans that have currently declared that they're running for governor are traditional Republicans?
Yeah, for the most part.
All of them?
Yeah. I can't think of anybody right offhand that isn't. If I don't run, I'm hoping that one of them will win. I do not want another Democrat governor, period. So therefore, I'm not going to do something that would make it so that I, bounced somebody really good off of the train in the primary. If I can't make it, and we're going to take, believe me, when I say there's a lot of ifs here, and one of them is, can I actually do this in the general? Can Tom Tancredo actually do this?
So
well,
what
I think so.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
So what are you considering then? What do you need? What questions do you need to have answered before you jump
first,
in?
I mean, I've been going around and speaking to Tea Party groups and just Republican clubs and everything like that for the last 2 weeks, maybe a little longer. And I hand out a little form and at the end, and I say, look, I'm thinking about it. There are a lot of other people good people. But I said, I'd like to know, and then I give them my little spiel, and I say, tell me what, and here, I always try to say, here are the positives and negatives. $30 million, not $30 million. and high name recognition and high name recognition. There are, all of these things, and I say, now here, that's all the things I can think of. If you can think of any more things, positive or negative, fine, let me know. I want you to think about that, and then write, and I'm going to ask you, would you vote for me under these circumstances? Would you vote for somebody else? I got to know this, because if I don't have the base, then I don't have anything. Why should I even proceed with a primary run? And so, everything so far has been pretty good.
So are you saying that, how far down the road of an exploratory committee are you? And do you have a timeline on when you might announce?
I don't know. That money issue is huge. Who can, what other candidate? There's nobody else, no Republican I know of that can match the millions of dollars that Jared Polis, if he is the Democrat nominee, nobody can actually match that. So, what's the best we can do, I suppose. And do I have a base? Is it broad enough? I actually end up all the time, every time I run, I end up with the highest percentage of small donors of anybody running. I have lots and lots of people who give me a little bit of money. That's very heartwarming, but man. But the other thing is, in this race, you can only, how much you can take in it's, I think, $575, $65 in the primary, and the same amount in the general per person. My God, do you know how many people, even if they gave you the max, how many you'd have to have? So you have to have outside sources. You have to have 527s that are hopefully going to support you, and you can't coordinate with them, so you don't know what they are and what they're going to say. You have no idea. And all of a sudden you're watching TV. This has happened to me. I'm watching TV and an ad comes on and I think, what the heck? Who put that on, And it was a 527 for me, and I would never have agreed to it. I don't even like it. But so it's just such a wild time.
Well, in this conversation you had with Mr. Bannon, did that come up, that
money
issue?
You bet your life it came up.
Is money already is he trying to, flow money in that direction?
We have not gotten there, I will tell you. But yes, absolutely. The whole issue was, how do you deal with somebody who's got that kind of money?
So it sounds like it was a pretty advanced conversation, though.
2 hours, and like I say, talking to him is a very, it wears you out. He's a very, his mind goes about 1,000 miles a minute, and he constantly is, and you're trying to jump. I always say it was like trying to talk to a tornado when you're trying to jump, and it's going wild. Hold it, yeah, just a minute. And when I left, I thought, we met at the Broadmoor, and I thought, if I could afford it, I'd probably stay here, just get a room, and I'm so tired.
So, it sounds to me like he's pretty all in on this idea.
I don't want to put, I can't say that. I can't. I don't know yet. He's a good friend, I will tell you that. He hired me at Breitbart 2 years ago. I think he likes what I write and say, and he was very complimentary yesterday and over again, and all that is true. That does not translate immediately into somebody writing huge checks for a 527.
He's riding pretty high from the primary win in Alabama. Do you see yourself in the cut from the Roy Moore cloth as it comes to who you are as a Republican?
Certainly I am more of an outsider than anybody who's running, we'll put it that way. I don't, this isn't Alabama, and I don't think that that's the same kind of a candidate and the same kind of campaign could work here. What works here, at least for me, and I'm telling you this from experience, I ran, in 2014, and I was ahead of Hickenlooper in at least one poll toward the end of the primary, which is what forced the Republicans into subverting my candidacy, putting $250,000. The Republican Attorneys General Association planted the money. Spent the money on the campaign, on the ads against me. But the Republican Governors Association, they're the ones that funded it. Mm-hmm. Against a Republican running in a Republican primary.
Where you're polling ahead of the current governor.
That's right, which goes to show you, their fear was that they had a greater fear of my being elected than of Hickenlooper being elected. It is the swamp here. There's no two ways about it. The Republican swamp I talk about is the crony capitalists, the Chamber of Commerce sycophants that are so worried about the bottom line that presently is being goosed up by illegal labor. They hate it. So they actually went out, got Bob Beaupre, God love him, put him in at the very end, spent all this money, beat me by a couple of points, and lost the general. Now, I can't tell you I would have won, I don't know, but I can tell you that there was a time in the last primary I was ahead of Hickenlooper. And I know, and it was pretty big in Pueblo, where, by the way, Trump won. So if you ran in 18, what makes that different than 14 and 2010? Well, at least we'll know this time what to deal with. At least I'll be prepared. I had no idea where that was coming from in the last 10 days of the election. We had no money left, and all of a sudden these ads started appearing everywhere, focused primarily on Colorado Springs and Grand Junction, and we kept thinking, who are these people? What are they? And Tom Tancredo wants to give drugs to your children, type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And you go, what? And we had nothing to do. You can't respond. It's too late. But if you know what's coming, if you know what to expect, you can create a campaign that deals with that.
Has Trump's election shifted the field for establishment Republicans and for Republicans?
In some places, it certainly has helped. In some places, I think it's hurt. There are some states, I think, where he's pulling down the Republican brand. There's some states where it's popped up. So I do not know about Colorado, to tell you the truth.
So you don't know if this is a drag on the brand here?
I do not. I do not. And, I didn't support him. Let's be realistic about this. I supported Ted Cruz, once he got nominated, man, there was no two ways about it. And I went down to another station, and they kept saying, Why are you supporting him? I said, 2 words, Hillary Clinton. Are you kidding me? I mean, so, but, it wasn't my first choice. But many of the things he has done, and you understand, he's not a conservative. He is not a conservative. He is, if anything, sort of a populist. He doesn't make any decision based on ideology. He doesn't. And so I don't know how it plays out, for sure.
I wanted to get back to something we started talking about with Roy Moore. Do you see yourself in the same ideological line as him?
I don't even know what his is. I know that his opponent was the sort of epitome of establishment Republican, and therefore I supported Roy. But I don't know for sure beyond that. I mean, I know he is not an establishment Republican. To the extent that I'm aware of his ideology, it's kind of Christian conservative, I guess I'd say.